everybody. This is Ana and Bryan from Amata World Podcast, and today we have our next guest for XR episode, Antonio Macedo, who is the founder and CEO of TotemXR. Hi, Antonio. How are you?
Hey Anna, hey Brian. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, and thank you so much for joining us. And maybe we can start from your background, so it would be easier for our listeners to understand where you're coming from, and just like how did you end up in XR, and why are you passionate about it?
Okay, sure. It's like a long ride. But it starts like as a child. I've been a gamer my complete life, basically. So I started out with the Atari consoles. That was like a gaming device that connected to the TV, and it was like every pixel was like 2 centimeters, maybe. It was like very, very old. And from there, I went through the family game, the Sega Genesis, the PlayStations, like every gaming device you can think of and through the computer. And so I've been always involved with technology because it's like one of my passions. And at some point in 2014, the Google Cardboard was launched. And I don't know if you remember how it was, but it was like a cardboard box with lenses that had a flap that you could open and put your cell phone into it. So it used like the cell phone screen and you could see through the glasses. And I said, like, wow, that's amazing. I'm going to get one. So I did. It arrived. I'm from Argentina. So it arrived like 2 months later, maybe something like that. And I tried it out and it was amazing. I thought like this is the next step in multimedia technology. And I was hooked like at that same point. And from then on, I've been working in it. It's been like 11 years, maybe in my career.
So can you tell us a bit more about what you're doing nowadays with XR? So you say, you got into it. So tell us like what kind of projects interest you the most nowadays? What are you doing? Are you working on any particular headset or are you still using Google Cardboard?
I wish. No, I wish it was so simple. The Google Cardboard had one button that was a magnetic thing that emulated a tap and it was like super simple. But no, I'm working with a variety of headsets right now. I'm working mostly, my go-to is the Quest 3, but also I've been working with Pico lately and with the HTC headsets and other Oculus like the Pro, and also I'm doing augmented reality with tablets and mobile devices. So it's like now it expanded and branched everywhere. At the beginning, it was only VR. So it was like a first. I don't know if you remember the first Samsung camera. It was like a little white sphere, something like this. This was like 2015, old technology.
Really?
I got one of those and started making video. That I am actually a biomedical engineer by background, like study, and I hate it. At that point, I was working in a hospital, and you do work like repairing medical equipment. So it's like the operation room things you have to work, and it's blood, and it was very bad. I'm like very impressed by blood. So
I would not
lasted
survive, probably.
2 months. I lasted as a medical engineer, and then I found VR and like drifted straight. So at the beginning, I made some 360 videos and photos, and then some clients started asking for an experience, for tourism. It's like very common as a client. So this particular one, I had like 6, 7 locations on the province. And I went and filmed time lapses in 360 of different places. And then I needed to build something to show that. So I started trying to learn Unity, which is like a great first step for anyone trying to build some experiences, because it's like very easy to pick up and you have a lot of tutorials on YouTube. So I started building Unity and experience that you have like a very simple 3D space around you and you could point into one 3D model and it took you to a 360 view of that place. And right now it's still a lot of tourism and mostly museums. XR works great for museums because you have like some stuff that you need to show that you can't. For example, I've been working with a dinosaurs museum lately, and they have like a skeleton over there and footprints, old, very, 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 very old. So if you see it, you say, okay, a footprint. But if you put an AR experience on top of it, it's like really cool. So for museums, it's like a perfect match. It's great. And for tourism also. For these two categories, AR works wonders. Is excellent. So most of my projects right now are of that sort, like AR, some VR, but mostly AR right now.
Mhm. So it's kind of like you would say it's more educational, right? So if you're working with
Yeah,
museums but do you think you at some point you will combine your previous life and like biomedical background with
biomedical is
actually educational and because it's easier to educate, I think, people when dissecting something and like in VR or mixed reality rather than
Yeah,
yeah.
there actually are a couple of tools that are working with that. And it is being used for training and medical procedures. Not, of course, in the operating room because you have like a big headset and it's not ideal. But for training, it's being used. And I had a couple of projects that didn't end up happening back in Argentina when I was over there. And so I didn't do it, but it's one big area where there is work being done, and mostly AR. VR not so much, I think, because for everything that's educational, AR keeps you in this space, so you can still interact with what's around you. And VR is more like for simulators. I did, for example, driving simulators. That works perfect. Flying and games. But for the rest of educational content, that you still want to see what's around you. I don't know. It's like I think that's one of the big uh, difficulties in VR that even though you are immersed in a super cool world with dinosaurs and maybe sharks or whatever, you still feel like what's happening actually around me. I'm afraid I'm gonna crash with someone. Someone is behind me and it's gonna hit me. It's like it's one of the big problems with VR.
Kind of like a body awareness. So just basically we don't know if like yeah, scared of
Yeah,
fall down. Fall down.
yeah.
Fall down.
So it's amazing for immersive experiences like gaming or simulators where you actually are going to go in, but you need like the safety net of like, I'm in my room alone, door closed. I'm not going to crash or throw anything or break anything. Like, if you are going to be in an exposition or some other place that you're not familiar with, AR is much easier as an experience for the user. So kind of works better. People like it more, I guess.
Can you tell us also like any kind of maybe experiences you had when you were, when you were creating all these applications or experiences? Um, like how did people engage with I guess the content experience when you're testing it out? Like maybe for first time users, like how was their experience and what did you learn from like guiding people through this process?
Yeah, sure. It's actually very fun. I like it, I love it because I've been actually the first person or company that brought VR to Santiago del Estero in Argentina. That's my hometown. And it was like the first time for people interacting with VR. And it's like, it blows your mind. It's like completely different new technology. So some people get like scared. For example, we did a racing simulator for automotive museum. So you had like 6 degrees of freedom that you had moved around everywhere, and it was VR. So the experience is like insane. I took my mother there at some point to try it out, and she was like crying, laughing, and going crazy because it's like very visceral as an experience. Even more if you have movements in a car and movement, and it's fun. It's always fun. Some people get it right away, like kids, for example. That we worked a lot of also with kids because we did like expositions in in events that were done by the government. So you have like a whole month in the holidays, for example, that you have every day we went and built a space with 3 separate spaces to play VR and put, I don't know, Beat Saber, Space Pirate Trainer, the old games. It was like the time of the Rift 1. And it was great. The kids love it. Adults depends. They don't get it so much, but kids go insane with it. It's like super good. It's very, very, very fun. And it's fulfilling. I loved it.
I think as well, just like maybe for adults, it's quite, maybe they feel sick more. I don't know.
Not only
Did they?
that, but they also like are really nervous about their hair. It's gonna mess up my hair. It's gonna they need to know what's happening around them. So if you strap a headset into them, it's like not so good.
It's kind of like harder to reach their inner child, whereas like yes, they're already like, oh yeah, this is a fun, cool
Yeah.
experience. But yeah,
They go right in. They go into the experience and they're gone. They love it. That adults is like it's trickier. Yeah. Sure.
what kind of applications to like XR, or what kind of experience do you want to build next? When you think it's just like, oh wow, this is like, I never tried it, but I really want to. I wish I had a project like that with XR.
Well, right now I'm starting to go into tourism. So this is, for example, I live in Barcelona. Barcelona is a beautiful city. And this is not necessarily with the headset right now. I'm talking about mobile AR, probably with a tablet. But you could, for example, I'm starting to build an experience for like a local guide, basically. So, for example, I live like really near to Sagrada Familia. And the idea for me is to go over there and have a QR code somewhere that user that you have like 20,000 people every day walking through. So the idea is for augment or explain or teach about the places that you are visiting. I think it's like a great way to connect with the history and the why everything was built. Because if you go and you don't have context and you don't have a guide with you, it's like you see a very nice building. It's like, wow, that must be so hard to build, but that's all you get. So I think like this is a great vehicle to teach and show more. So I'm going into that space. Tourism, I like a lot. So I have that in mind. And also I'm like in the middle with the company. I'm in the middle of the negotiations for closing a whole city over here. That's the idea is they want to have like 10 different stations because they are a touristic city, but people always like arrive and see like, that's nice, stay for an afternoon and leave to the next city basically. And they want to extend that time. And for that, we are doing like 10 stations with AR that people can walk around and see how it was like 2000 years ago when it was Roman, because like here, everything is so old, like a lot of history. And I think there's a great way to connect and bring people that experience. And it's the thing that I'm excited about. I like it. I don't know why.
And as well, just like the Sagrada Familia, they're just like the, if you can actually time lapse, because how many years? 100 something?
2000.
Yeah,
It's
so it's kind of
insane.
like, it's insane. But they finish in next year, right? 2026.
Yeah.
So
Fingers
I just like
crossed.
showing the time lapse of like how it's been done. If there's some footage of like all themes or something that is
I
possible
think
to
it's going to be
overlap, or
difficult to get
yeah,
footage
yeah,
from 2000 years ago, but you can generate it with 3D or something. It's the idea.
yeah. But I think it's just I usually ask as well guests different technologies. They could be a key and a solution to solving some of the problems around the world, or like raising awareness. So apart from like touristy and like historical bit, do you think what kind of the XR, what kind of a key, like if you all pick up the door, so there are different problems, where it will fit the best in order to like raise awareness or like sort out like an issue? Is it like education or like training or
Got you. So I feel like VR shines more here. So why? I think like VR is an empathy machine. Basically, it's a platform that is allowing you to put yourself in the physical space and feeling of a different person. That's like, it's perfect for that. So I actually was working a little bit ago about actually two projects this year that involve people immigrating to Europe from Africa, for example. And they have like an insane trip. I immigrated here, but they do it like in a raft through the sea. It's like heartbreaking stories. It's incredible. It's like, if you have the chance, check it out, because it's like, I don't know, maybe 1 in 200 make it. The other ones die in the way. It's like insane. And for telling those kinds of stories and raising awareness, it's like perfect technology. Also for example, for bullying, it's like there was an experience that put you through the body and point of view of a person that was being bullied in school. This was for school. And they actually were using this project in schools to bring awareness to the problem. And so the bully can see what it's like on the other side. And it's very powerful as an experience, because you are embodying that space. And I think VR shines very much in those kinds of situations. At some point, I did something with meats consumption. So you can go into, I don't know, a matadero is in Spanish. You call it matadero in English. I'm not really
So
sure, but the
where they
place,
Like a
are kind of slicing them up,
not
processing
only
or like
you,
raising.
yeah, it's actually the whole life cycle that you can see from the point of view of one of the animals, and it's very strong. It's
Probably
insane.
heartbreaking.
It makes you like, I'm not eating meat anymore.
Mm.
It's like immediate. For that kind of bringing awareness, it's incredible. The other point I think is simulation and training is also very, very good, but it's a different.
So I think you, having worked on so many different projects now with so many different technologies, I'm curious what, in your opinion, what's your favorite technology to work with, or like hardware, let's just say, to work with, that lets you
I
do, I guess,
think
more. Yeah.
I think regarding hardware, the Quest 3 is my favorite. I already like told you, and it's like a super simple. It's not flashy. It's not like the Vision Pro from Apple, but it's like $4,000, and this one is like 450, and it's awesome. It's super simple to work with. It's great. Actually, it's been difficult for me to take it to a place where it doesn't have the power to compute. It's like amazingly powerful. It's simple. It's good. If you can take it, it's rugged. I dropped it and it doesn't happen. Nothing happens to it. It's like great. So from the technology standpoint, if I have to pick a favorite hardware, it's a Quest 3, like no contest. Then from the technology standpoint, I'm like really enjoying a lot using AI together with XR now and VR. And it's like super cool because you can bring a lot of more power to the experience. It's like in AR, for example, some of my proposals for coming projects are like bring historical characters back. So, for example, you are going to have a Roman ruin and a Roman emperor to you about it, and not only talking to you, but you can ask questions to it, and it's going to reply with the knowledge through AI. I'm working a lot with that, and it's super cool too. It's learning an incredible technology.
I think it's even like, what was it? During the XR hack in London, like where we met. We tried to do something with DaVinci, for example, when you're like learning how to, and you can ask different questions about what inspired this painting, for example, or like trying to talk to the people, like the legends. So, and yeah, using AI to actually voice over, and as well, like possibility to ask some questions could be really powerful in order to connect, especially the new generation. Uh, so they can actually feel that, yeah, I can just chat with them and
It's
ask some questions.
Do you? I chat with GPT all the time. It's like I don't want to say it's my friend, but it's like a co-pilot or a companion for whatever I'm building. It's like all the time. It is super good. Sometimes I even get mad and like I give shit to it. It's like not good.
But like, so for example, did you work with any kind of designers before, who are creating assets or like something for the experience itself? Do you know how do they feel right now in the XR? Are they scared that they're gonna lose job or?
I
Yeah, I know it's a
don't
hard
really
question.
know. It's like a hard question because like everyone is scared that they are going to lose their job to AI, basically. But as I see it, it's more an enabling technology because at least in my experience, it's something that is not, AI is not going to have the idea to do like a touristic application and go and build it and charge people for it. Not going to happen soon. So in the meantime, it's like a super tool in which I can say, okay, I have this idea. How do I build it? What tools would you recommend? How do you think the user flow should be? I don't know. You can use it to explore ideas, and in the 3D creation of assets world, for example, that's what you're asking me. Like I have 3D modelers, of course, with whom I worked with, and I don't know. There are tools that are giving like nice 3D assets now, but they still need to be tweaked and cleaned up and maybe like repainted. And I think it's going to be a tool for them too, at least for the next 3 years, depending on Sam Altman and Elon and, the guys who are on the forefront of it. But for now, I think it's a tool for everyone. I don't think it's going to replace you. The thing is that a person using AI is going to replace you. That's the scary part because now you don't need like 50 people working in a project. Maybe you can do the same project with 3 people using AI. So if you are scared of it, I would say learn. Start using it every day and learning because it's like it's a power tool that's incredible. So good.
Yeah, I think that's really good, fair advice, and I think that applies to anyone who could possibly be impacted by AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the topic of XR again, I'm curious to hear what, like, you obviously worked with many apps and probably tried many apps yourself. Like, what is your favorite, like AR, VR app so far?
AR, VR app so far. Space Pirate Trainer. One of the oldest. Well, I think it was like the second game it was there. I like the old games. I played a lot of Beat Saber and I played a lot of shooting games, and those actually are my favorite. Also, the how is it called? Because it switched. There is this app to sculpt in VR that's also amazing to create 3D models, and you can sculpt whatever piece of art you want to do. Actually, I made the logo for the company into a 3D sculpture, and from there I exported it as the logo of the company. It's like it's very fun to build and paint in 3D space. It's like super fun. I love that.
Do you have any hopes and predictions for the future XR and your own project as well?
Well, I think like the hardware is advancing at an incredible rate. So right now it's been like 10 years maybe, and the headsets are getting like more powerful and more tiny, like smaller. At this point, I don't know if you have seen the Beyond. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's like this, something like very tiny that you could put like this, and it's full VR, beautiful. Only PC is not standalone, but the form factor is gonna get to a point in which like is that you don't feel it anymore in your head. And on the other side of the block, AR is getting into the glasses form factor. Like I don't know if you saw like the last presentation from Google, and well, of course, we have the Meta Ray-Bans that it's cameras, but you don't have a screen. But then they launched Project Orion, that's with screens already. Also, the Snapchat ones have screens, and they are getting like every year a bit closer to having glasses that you can use for navigation, mixed messaging. It's like simple stuff on the screen, but both technologies are going to get into a form factor in which it's going to get like a massive audience and reception. So I think like we are getting closer and closer to that step. And in that point, the whole computational platform that we use right now as screens and cell phones is going to switch into the XR platform, basically, and VR for gaming and entertainment. So I think we are still like waiting for that jump. I've been waiting for it like 10 years, maybe, because it was like, everyone is going to use this now in the next year for sure. And it's going to be slowly being adopted. And I guess in the next 2-3 years, it's going to get to the break point in which the technology is good enough and comfortable enough to use like every day. And we are getting there. I don't know if that's good or no, but we are getting there for sure, because you could argue that at that point, you are going to have advertisements everywhere you walk. You're going to go outside, walk, and you have like advertisements for the sky's the limit.
Kind of like a Minority Report or something, right? Like when an advertisement is specifically targeted towards you.
Yeah, it's going to go in that direction for sure. So I guess it's for every creator and all of us. Like now is still early, and maybe we can shape the direction a little bit of where it goes.
Absolutely. And I think that's why it's an exciting time to be part of this industry right now, especially with all the hardware developments. Yeah. And I think this is probably a good place to end the episode. But I'd like to leave maybe the last minute or so for yourself, Antonio, just to give any last words for our listeners, or like if people have any questions, how can they, reach out, or where can they find you? And if they want to find out more about some of your work, like, where's the best place to reach out?
Okay, sure. We have a website for the company. That's TotemXR.com. I'm sure you're going to put the link somewhere. And also I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Instagram, but I actually don't use social media that much. So, but if you message me, I'm going to reply for sure. And regarding like a last message for the listeners, I would say like if you are interested in the technology, it's still early days. Like sounds pretty crazy. It's been a long time, but it is still early days, and you can pick up like Unity or Unreal if you're interested. I would say like start following tutorials, make a project, show it. And in no time, like I think less than 6 months, you can be somewhere in which you can work in the industry if you are interested. Maybe a year, but you can start like playing around. It's free and it's super approachable with the amazing tutorials that there are online. Like Dilmer Basilos is amazing. I've been following him for a long time, and a lot of people. Actually, it's impossible to name more.
Great. Thank you so much for doing this episode with us, and hopefully we'll see more interesting XR applications from you and like different use cases in the future. Yeah,
for sure. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Likewise. And to all the listeners, thank you for listening up to this point. Have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.